Hello everybody, this is R.Squared again, and today I'm here to talk to you about this mysterious rent command that showed up in our help book right about here, page 6. Um, so if you'll notice in the text, it's a little gray. It just says that you are able to rent from donators, but it doesn't really tell you how to do it. And part of the reason is because they don't really tell you that. It's kind of implied, but to get that information, you have to go to your donor book. Now, if you don't have a donor book, you can do a /kit donor and get one, and then it goes into a little more detail. But even then, it's kind of So, anybody can rent a plot or subplot from anybody who has one up for rent, and they can use their balance blocks, their that they would normally use to claim a land or something. They can use those blocks to rent somebody else's land, basically. Now, a donor is the only one who can rent out their land to be rented. Okay, so how does it work? Well, normally you would take your golden shovel and you'll click in one corner, left click in one corner, right click in the other, and then do a /claim name. To rent out land, you have to break that into subclaims. And so you'll do it the same way with the shovel, left click in one corner, right click in the other of the subclaim, and then you will do /subclaim and the subclaim name. Now, here's the tricky part. Okay, whenever you're doing the subclaim command, you'll do, for example, /subclaim space plot 3. Okay, but in other commands, the subclaim is called claim name dot subclaim name. So in the video that I recorded earlier, the subclaim or the claim name was lad test, and the subclaim name was lad test dot plot 3. Okay, so it gets a little. Sometimes you might have to do these commands and try it both ways to see if it works or not. But so once you have the claim done, then if you want to rent out the subclaim or the plot or whatever you want to call it, you'll do a /set for rent. That's SETFORRENT. So /set for rent space full subclaim name space the amount of balance blocks that you want to rent it for space the amount of time you want to rent it for. Okay, so if you want to charge the player 100 balance blocks per 10 days, it would be, set for rent space lad test dot plot 3 space 100 the claim blocks space 10 for 10 days. And so that sets it up. It's ready for rent. And then if you want, you could put a rent in, or you could put a sign outside of it and say, this is how much I'm renting it for. And so if a player wants to rent that out, all they have to do is they walk into the subclaim and they do a /rent, and then it will deduct that 100 claim blocks or whatever you decide to rent it for. It'll automatically deduct the full amount from their balance, and then now that land is temporarily theirs. So let me make sure you understand this completely. That land is temporarily theirs, meaning you have no rights to that land right now. As soon as they rent it, you have no rights. Now, if you have flags, if you go in and you set flags into your claim, those flags do not transfer into your subclaims. And so if you have multiple subclaims on your claim, you have to go into each one of those and set those flags individually. That could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you look at it. But you go into those, you can set the flags individually. So if you like one person, you want to give them all the rights or whatever, and then this other person is going to rent out, but you're not so sure about them, so you can, you know, lock them down a little bit. But once they rent that land, whatever flags they normally have access to, they could change. So if they have a chest flag and they decide to leave that open, then the chests on their land are going to be open whether you set it to on or off, whatever. It doesn't matter. They are in control. They can also, so you have no build rights there. You have no destroy rights there. Unless they give you /trust. Now they can /trust you, and then all of a sudden, you know, it's like your land again. But still, they have access to the flags and you don't. Now at any time, if they decide they don't want to rent the land anymore, they can do /unrent, and then it gives up their rights to whatever's left over. But you can't take the land from them. It's theirs. You have no rights now. So why would you want to do this? Why would you want to rent out your land? Maybe you have access to more flags than most people do. So if you wanted to rent out your land to somebody, you know, instead of them trying to buy a piece of land and then going out and spending real world money to get these flags, they could rent it from you for a daily, weekly, monthly, whatever rental amount, and it's like they're getting these flags for free. Another reason is maybe you want to build a town, or you want to build a castle, and you want to rent out these pieces for your citizens to come in. They can rent a piece, they can, you know, build a house, or, you know, whatever they decide they want to build. They could even dig it down to the bedrock if they want to. It's up to them. It's totally up to them. And also, whenever they give up their rights to that, or they unrent it, or if they let their rent run out, the land does not revert back. So however messed up they decide to leave it, that's how it is. There's no changing it. So whenever someone gives up, you might have to do a little bit of maintenance. You might have to fill a hole. You might have to tear down a house or structure of some kind. But that's just how it is. Let's see. Are there any other questions that came up? Also, if you have a subclaim set up and you decide you don't want to rent it out anymore, you know, maybe you changed your mind, or maybe the last person messed it up so bad that you just don't want to have to go through that process of cleaning it up, you can unset the land for rent. All you do is you go into the claim, you type in /unset for rent. It's UNSETFORRENT, and it will unset up the rent. It'll still be subclaimed, but it won't be available for rent anymore. You could also do the same thing if you want to change the rent amount. Maybe you found out you were charging too much, or maybe you weren't charging enough, and you can unset it and then reset it with a different amount. Okay, and I think that about covers it all. As usual, if you have any other questions, get a hold of one of the helpers or one of the mods, and or you can even leave a comment on this video, and we will answer your questions as best as we can. This is still a learning process. Everybody's still trying to figure it all out, but you know, we'll do what we can as usual. Or you can talk to your fellow players, see if they know anything more than we do, because it's quite possible they will. All right, guys, thanks a lot, and have fun. Bye.